5 normal purchases that devour your financial future. The most dangerous threats to your wealth are not hidden in complex schemes or volatile markets. They are sitting in your driveway, displayed in your living room, and logged into your Instagram feed. After a lifetime of studying how fortunes are built and destroyed, I can tell you with certainty that the single greatest obstacle to becoming truly rich is not your income, but your spending. Specifically, the spending you've been conditioned to believe is completely normal. We have been expertly programmed to confuse standard practice with sound practice. Society, advertising, and social pressure have aligned to make a series of profoundly destructive financial decisions seem not just acceptable, but expected. These purchases are the silent, patient termites of your financial house. You don't hear the chewing. You don't see the damage until the entire structure of your potential wealth collapses into dust. This is not about skipping your morning coffee or denying yourself small joys. This is about identifying and eliminating the major, recurring capital drains that siphon off not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars from your future. These are the purchases that trade temporary status and fleeting pleasure for permanent financial freedom. Let's expose them. Wealth killer number 1, the new car, a financial halving machine. The argument begins immediately, but everyone needs a car. Absolutely. Transportation is a necessity, but a new car is a luxury of catastrophic financial proportions, masquerading as a necessity. It is one of the most effective wealth transfer devices ever created, moving money from your pocket to the manufacturers, the dealers, and the banks with breathtaking efficiency. The brutal mathematics of depreciation. The moment you sign the papers and drive a new car off the lot, you commit to an immediate, unrecoverable loss. That vehicle sheds 10 to 20% of its value in the first mile. You haven't even navigated out of the dealership parking lot, and $4,000 to $8,000 has vanished from a $40,000 purchase. This isn't a market fluctuation, it's a financial guillotine. The bleeding doesn't stop. Over the first 5 years, a typical car loses about 60% of its original value. Your $40,000 asset becomes a $16,000 asset. You have incinerated $24,000 simply through ownership. The double jeopardy of financing. Yet, for the majority who finance, the true devastation is just beginning. Let's illustrate with complete real-world math. Purchase price, $40,000. Loan terms, 5 years at 5% interest, often higher. Monthly payment, approximately $754. Total paid over 5 years, $45,240. Car's value after 5 years, $16,000. Net financial outcome, you have paid $45,240 to own an asset worth $16,000. Your total loss is $29,240. Now, let's apply the wealth alternative lens. That $29,240 loss represents more than just spent money. It represents murdered capital. If that same $29,240 had been invested in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, averaging a conservative 10% annual return, in 30 years it would grow to approximately $523,000. One car decision, one 5-year cycle, $500,000 in future wealth extinguished. And this is not a one-time event. The average person buys a new car every 5 to 7 years. Over a lifetime, this cycle repeats 7 to 10 times. We are no longer talking about thousands. We are talking about a multi-million-dollar evaporation of potential net worth. The wealth builder's alternative. The strategy is not complex. Buy a reliable, late-model used car, 2 to 4 years old, where the steepest depreciation has already been absorbed. Pay in cash. Maintain it meticulously. Drive it for a decade or more. The monthly payment you don't have, that's $754, becomes an automatic monthly investment. Over a decade, that single act can build an investment portfolio worth well over $100,000. A car is a tool for transportation, not a canvas for your identity. Treat it as such, and you unlock one of the most powerful wealth creation levers available to the average person. Wealth killer number 2, the bank-approved house, the castle that becomes a cage. Home ownership is often called the cornerstone of the American dream. It can be a path to stability and equity, but when taken to the extreme limit of what the bank is willing to lend, it transforms from a cornerstone into a millstone, drowning your cash flow and strangling your ability to invest. Banks are not your financial advisors. They are profit-maximizing institutions. Their generous pre-approval amounts are calculated to find the absolute maximum you can theoretically repay without defaulting, not the amount that allows you to thrive and build wealth. They profit from the interest. Your financial stagnation is not their concern. The anatomy of house poor. Imagine an individual earning $100,000 annually, approved for a $400,000 mortgage. The common disastrous logic follows. The bank says I can afford $400,000, so I should buy a $400,000 home. Mortgage, $320,000 after 20% down at 4% over 30 years. Principal and interest, approximately $1,527 per month. Plus, property taxes, insurance, maintenance 1 to 3% of home value annually. Total outlay easily $2,300 to $2,800. This consumes 30 to 35% of gross income, and after taxes, a staggering 40 to 50% of take-home pay. What remains, after other necessities, there is little to nothing left for systematic wealth-building investment. You become house rich and cash poor. Your net worth is locked in illiquid equity, while your working capital is zero.
The Warren Buffett Principle: modesty in residence, aggression in investment. I bought my home in Omaha in 1958 for $31,500. I could have borrowed far more. I did not. I chose a comfortable, adequate house in a good neighborhood. That deliberate constraint freed up capital, thousands of dollars annually, that was relentlessly deployed into high-quality stocks and businesses. The wealth was built not by the house's appreciation, but by the investable surplus its modesty created. The wealth builder's rule: your total home price should not exceed 2.5x your annual household income. On a $100,000 salary, target a $250,000 home. Strive for a 20% down payment to avoid private mortgage insurance, PMI. Most critically, opt for a 15-year mortgage. The higher payment forces discipline and saves you a fortune in interest, often cutting the total interest paid by more than half compared to a 30-year loan. The goal is to own your home outright as quickly as possible, transforming a payment into investable capital. The difference between the bank-approved house and the wealth builder's house, invested over 30 years, can easily exceed $1 million. Your home should be a launch pad for your finances, not the anchor that holds them back. Wealth killer number 3, the showroom living room, financing depreciation. Furniture and home decor represent a stealth wealth assassin. Unlike a car or house, we rarely consider its total lifetime cost. We furnish in bursts after a move, a marriage, a promotion, and the bill is staggering. $2,000 for a sofa, $3,000 for a dining set, thousands more for beds, dressers, rugs, and art. A fully furnished home can easily absorb $30,000 to $50,000. And for what? To sit, sleep, and eat? Brand new furniture performs these functions identically to high-quality used pieces, yet we pay the newness premium and often compound the error with store financing at usurious interest rates. You are now paying interest on assets that are depreciating in your living room. The Wealth Builder's alternative, the patient second-hand strategy. Wealthy individuals understand that true luxury is financial peace, not a matching living room set. They acquire furniture through estate and garage sales, where solid, classic furniture from generations built to last is sold for pennies on the dollar. Online marketplaces, a treasure trove of gently used items from people who are moving or upgrading. Slow, cash-based accumulation, buying one high-quality essential piece with cash rather than financing an entire room's worth of particle board trends. The math of modesty. Spend $10,000 patiently furnishing a home with quality used items instead of $30,000 on new. The $20,000 saved, invested at 10% for 30 years, grows to $349,000. That is the price of your preference for unopened boxes and that new furniture smell. It's a preference that costs $250,000. Furniture is for use, not for impressing occasional guests. Redirect the savings from this category directly into assets that appreciate. Your couch won't fund your retirement, but the money you didn't spend on it absolutely will. Wealth killer number 5, the gadget treadmill, chasing obsolescence. Technology companies have perfected a psychological hack, the manufactured need for the next. We are conditioned to view a 2-year-old phone as slow, a 3-year-old laptop as obsolete, and last year's model as a social embarrassment. This creates a perpetual, expensive upgrade cycle that serves their profits, not our productivity or wealth. The compounding cost of new. Smartphone. Upgrading every year versus every 3 to 4 years saves about $500 per year. Laptop, tablet, only replacing when functionally necessary, saves about $300 per year. Miscellaneous gadgets, wireless earbuds, smartwatches, can easily add another $200 per year. This conservative $1,000 annual savings, invested over 40 years at 10%, grows to $486,000. For the price of staying on the technological cutting edge, an edge that dulls the moment you unbox the product, you sacrifice nearly $500,000. I use a flip phone. It makes calls. It costs virtually nothing. It never demands an upgrade, a new case, or a subscription service. My point is not that you must use a flip phone, but that you must interrogate the true need. A smartphone is a useful tool. The latest model, released 12 months after your perfectly functional current model, is a want. The distinction is worth millions over a lifetime. The Wealth Builder's mantra. Use technology until it no longer reliably serves its core function. Buy refurbished. Ignore cosmetic updates. View every gadget through the lens of total cost of ownership plus lost investment potential. Technology should be a servant to your life and productivity, not a master of your finances. Wealth killer number 5, the YOLO experience, financing memories, indebting your future. This is the most emotionally defended wealth killer, luxury experiences financed on credit. The exotic vacation, the first-class flight, the Michelin-starred dinner, the front-row concert tickets. The justification is powerful and seductive. You can't take it with you. Life is about memories. I work hard. I deserve this. No one is arguing against experiences or joy. The argument is against financing that joy at the expense of your future security. There is a profound difference between an affordable getaway and a luxury trip that requires months of debt payments. The devastating swap. A couple spends $10,000 on a luxury cruise. They put $4,000 on a credit card at 18% interest, taking a year to pay it off. They have not just spent $10,000, they have spent around $10,400, and more importantly, they have destroyed $10,000 of future capital. That $10,000 invested for 30 years would grow to $174,000. They have traded $174,000 in future financial freedom for 1 week of present-day luxury. They have, perhaps unknowingly, made one of the worst financial trades imaginable. The wealth builder's philosophy: affordability first. Wealthy people pay cash for experiences. If you cannot pay cash for a vacation without disrupting your automated investment plan, you cannot afford it. This is non-negotiable. The memories from a $2,000 road trip to a national park or a rented beach house can be as rich and lasting as those from a $10,000 resort stay. The joy is in the connection and the break from routine, not in the thread count of the hotel sheets or the prestige of the destination. Invest first. Use the returns of your investments to fund your luxuries later. This reverses the equation. Instead of your experiences destroying your wealth funds your experiences sustainably and without guilt. The synthesis: the path not taken. These 5 categories are not mere budget lines. They are a philosophical fork in the road. One path, the broad, well-trodden path, leads to a life of earned income, spent income, and constant financial anxiety masked by outward displays of consumption. It's the path of the monthly payment lifestyle. The other path, narrower, quieter, and often misunderstood, leads to financial independence. It requires the courage to be different, to drive a used car while your peers lease new ones, to live in a comfortable, affordable home while others are maxed out, to own a phone for 4 years, to take a camping trip. It requires you to value invisible wealth, brokerage accounts, compound interest, over visible status, new things, fancy photos. This path works with mathematical inevitability. If you stop the hemorrhaging in these 5 areas, you will likely find $1,500 to $3,000 per month to redirect. Invest that steadily in a low-cost, broad-market index fund for 25 to 30 years, and you will amass $2 to $5 million. Not from a lottery ticket, not from a hot stock tip, but from the simple, disciplined act of not buying what everyone else buys. The secret is out. It has always been out. It is not hidden in a guru's course or a hedge fund strategy. It is embedded in daily choice, in resisting the siren song of normalized consumption. Wealth is primarily built by what you earn, not by what you keep, and what you keep is determined by what you consciously, courageously decide not to buy.